So, I think it's fair to say that our Pro Cycling Manager 25 career mode did not go that well in the last episode. We took on the Giro d'Italia 2026, our second Grand Tour of this series, and well, the results, 6 times top 10. Like, I was simply hoping to be more competitive, but if we're being honest to ourselves, our team is simply not ready for World Tour, so this is logical. Also, our position in the UCI team ranking is living proof that we're not good enough to be in World Tour, 25th. We have to be in the top 18 of this ranking to be in World Tour next season, and at the moment, that's not looking too good. So I think I want to start today's episode by looking at our calendar, the last quarter of the season, and see if we can add some races that could give us some UCI points. I think we should consider riding races like Circuito de Getxo, a 1.1 race. Because, well, 1.1 races give quite a bit of UCI points. So, I spent the last 20 minutes going through these races and I ended up adding a lot of them. I think it's fair to say most of my riders will be over-raced by the end of the season, but hey, it's for a good cause. It's for the survival of our team in World Tour. By the way, on a different topic, I did something off camera. I signed a new sponsor, Dacia. And it's actually pretty great news for our team because our money goes from 1.5 million to 1.8 million next year, so that's great. But hey, admin aside, I think it's time to look at the races we're gonna ride today. First of all, I decided to semi-skip the Dauphiné because we can't afford to send a good team there, so we're focusing on this one, the Tour de Suisse. And as you can see, stage 1, a 10km time trial, that is Ivan Romeo territory. Then again, the Ineos Grenadiers show up with Filippo Ganna, Joshua Tarling, Magnus Sheffield, Jesus. That is some competition for a time trial. Anyway, stage 2, 3 and 4 are versatile sprints, but on stage 5 the mountains start and they don't stop with a mountain time trial on day 7. And a pretty crazy Queen stage on the last day. I think the favorite for this Tour de Suisse is most likely Isaac Del Toro. But considering our 74 mountain stat, I think a top 10 for Ivan Romeo is our goal here. And I was gonna say a podium in this first time trial, but looking at the start list, that will be difficult. Sometimes when I'm trying to figure out my strategy for a time trial, I tend to look at, for example, Kopecky controlled by the computer to see how the computer is spending his energy. With about 1.5 kilometers to go, Kopecky still has his full red energy, so the computer spends that energy in the last kilometer. My strategy in these shorter time trials is usually different. I tend to gradually spend my red energy throughout the time trial. So I don't know if the computer's or my strategy is better. Anyway, our man is on the road, Ivan Romeo. Let's see how he does. There we go, first time check, let's take a look. 5th place at the moment, so that's meh. In the last kilometer, trying to spend all our red energy before the finish, but not too early either. There we go in the wheel of KICKR as we speak, and we're crossing the line. 3rd place on 20 seconds of Tarling. But of course, Filippo Ganna is yet to finish, so he will undoubtedly strike us off the podium. And he wins the race, so we finish 4th on 36 seconds. That's actually quite a big gap. But as usual, after the time trial, we are the best placed GC rider, but the mountains are coming and they look scary. But first, we've got a versatile, actually no, not a versatile sprint stage. This is GC. Isaac Del Toro is the favorite, but I do think Ivan Romeo in these last 10 kilometers could do pretty well. So yeah, let's score some UCI points. Oh snap, Matthias Kopecky with 75 hill stat, but 65 medium mountain. Can he survive that final? I'm not sure. With about 60k to go on the bigger climbs of the day, Kopecky's holding on quite well because the brakes already caught, so the peloton is not even pacing, so this all helps us. I am subtly getting some free bonus seconds here. Why not? 2 seconds. Anyway, last 20 kilometers as we speak. My team is well positioned at the front right now, positioning both Romeo and Kopecky, while we've got some other teams doing something here, not sure what. Come on team, on to the final hill. There goes Samuel Fernandez, attacks on the left side of the road again. Adria going, we need to follow, we need to get over the top. I'm trying to catch these riders attacking, I'm trying to stay in the same group, and that seems to be working, but they need to slow down in the descent and they're not doing that. Can I have Kopecky in the wheel of... He's not in the wheel. He's not in the wheel. Oh, 3.5 kilometers to go. I will switch now with Fernandez on 99, is that the way to go? Kopecky needs to try and get to the front with Serrano as lead out. Is that a mistake? Maybe. Energy Shell's way too late. What is happening? I'm not completely sure. 2 kilometers to go and we've got barely any energy, but I'll launch right now with Romeo. Serrano in the wheel. Kopecky's here as well. Come on, Kopecky. Launch right now, buddy. Launch right now. The attackers are gonna win. The attackers are gonna win. Fisher Black wins, but are we going to have a good result? Not really. Well, top 10 in this stage is fine, but it looked better with about a kilometer to go. So, Javier Serrano in 6th place, that is solid. Kopecky 11th and Romeo in the same time, not really, because Fisher Black took 9 seconds. And plus the bonus seconds, so he does jump over us in GC. We're now 5th. Oh, this is weird. Stage 3 is set to be a hill stage, but I'm looking at a sprint stage with Mathieu van der Poel as the favorite, but I'd like to think Matthew Brennan has a bigger chance than van der Poel here. Either way, I'll try to go for a top 5 with Matthias Kopecky. So, in the last 30 kilometers with one climb left to come, one proper climb at least, and Kopecky is looking pretty solid, I would say, even though his yellow bar is not completely full. It's all about surviving this climb. If he gets over the climb, he can sprint. The tempo in the peloton is not exactly slow because there's still a breakaway of 3 riders ahead, but the gap is only a minute, so the break is definitely not winning. Come on, Kopecky, get over the top here. There we go, he's made it over the top. Let's get him back to the front of the peloton. Come on, boys, we are in full control. 4 kilometers to go. Fernandez is basically done for. It's time for Romeo to take over with 3.5k to go on 97 to not spend Kopecky's energy. Serrano's perfectly in the wheel, looking good. 2.5 kilometers to go, slightly downhill here, so I'll launch right now with Serrano, Kopecky in the wheel. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Last kilometer incoming. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Kopecky launches from the wheel. This is our moment. This is our moment. No, Van der Poel. Kopecky. Kopecky. Yes. Woohoo! We win a World Tour race. I can't believe this. Matthias Kopecky. He takes it. I saw the final of this race and it looked perfect for Kopecky against versatile sprinters, and in the end, he brings home a World Tour victory, so lots of UCI points. Matthias Kopecky, man, he had to fill in the shoes of a legend of Siroko 4 Endurance, Mateusz Govekar, and he finally does it after being injured for most of the year, so I'm kinda happy I can play with him. Now, how many UCI points is that? Okay, 60 points. I was kinda hoping for more, but I'll take it. And I don't know about you, but stage 4 looks fairly similar to me. Could we see a Matthias Kopecky back-to-back? The weather is once again pretty bad, but Matthias Kopecky's form is pretty fantastic. A +2 on the day, so 75 sprint. I feel like our boy will once again cook something up. Filippo Ganna has attacked on the final climb, but we're almost at the top and we're catching him pretty soon, so that's good. Fernandez can now take over from Okamika and get out of the way. Perfection. And our sprint train's looking good. But the last 10 kilometers are basically downhill, so I gotta make sure our team is well positioned at the front because positioning will be key here. Come on, fight for your position. Last 6 kilometers, lots of other teams doing so as well. Romeo in the wheel of Tercero. We can go a bit early because it's downhill once again right here. There we go. 5 kilometers to go. Romeo takes over. Kopecky in a good position. Energygel on Kopecky may be late. 3.9 kilometers to go. Come on, team. We are not that perfectly positioned. We gotta move up now. We gotta move up. Can Romeo sprint? Why not? Let's go. Serrano in the wheel, Serrano in the wheel. We can launch with him. Kopecky in that wheel. Come on, 1.3, 1.2. Kopecky launches from the wheel, gets blocked a little bit, but can he pass the others? Can he pass the others? No, he won't, but we can top 3. We can get second here. Yes, behind Wout van Aert. So that's a good result. I almost can't believe it, but our team is competitive again. And of course, second place on a stage like this is 50 UCI points, so I'm welcoming it. But now the challenge starts because the mountains are coming and Romeo is in 4th place in GC, but I'm terrified. Like, on paper, a medium mountain finish like this is pretty good for Romeo, but the competition here is so much better. Del Toro, Schielmos, Lenny Martinez, and it keeps on going. But again, I am hoping that our man can stay in the top 10. So, the stage has begun, +1 on Romeo, so 78 medium mountain, which is pretty good, but I don't know what to expect from this final, because the biggest climb tops with about 15k to go. I think that could be good for Romeo. By the way, over the last week, I spent quite a bit of time looking at my schedule for next year, for 2026, and of course, Pro Cycling Manager will be a big part of that. But of course, I also want to ask you, what content do you want to see in 2026 when it comes to Pro Cycling Manager? Like, I think there's always going to be a career mode on my channel, but next to that, I think I also want to do some more videos like the I locked Pogacar in the worst team in the world video, something more like that, because I really enjoyed making that video. Anyway, drop your take in the comments below. Hola, someone's on the ground, Tercero, but he's getting back up, so not that big of a deal. Okay, Matthias Kopecky also crashed, so Tercero now has a friend. As long as it's not Romeo, I'm good. Here we go, the big climb has begun with 20 kilometers to go. I don't know how long this big climb is, but I'm guessing about 10 kilometers, so let's make sure we keep some yellow bar for over the top. Oh snap, the tempo is going up significantly to the point that I'm having to pace 87, something like that, just to follow. Come on, Romeo, stay in the wheel, buddy. Ah, there's a gap. There's a small gap here. I'm hoping that Looks like I'm gonna have to close that eventually myself. That's not ideal. I want to be in the front group by the top of this climb. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen. The gap is 30 seconds and I'm having trouble closing that. Others are trying to do it for me. Can I make the bridge here over the top? I don't think I can. So I'll sit up in group 2 and hope that I somehow get back. Filippo Ganna is trying to bridge our group back to the front, but I'm trying to stay on 25 when it comes to my energy spendage to get some energy back. But oi, 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 oi. The guys up front are attacking again. They're attacking again and they're getting away in that group, so they're getting away from me. And it's actually quite a bit of climbing still to go, so I'm trying to do my own tempo in this third group on the road now, 1:15 back on the front of the race, but I don't know. Top 10 in GC? I don't think it's happening. Who's winning this? Matteo Jorgensen ahead of Del Toro, so no Del Toro victory, but I'm not that far back, to be honest. I think I'm actually gonna pass a ton of people here. Can I get past McNulty as well? I don't think so. I'll probably strand behind Sanchez at the finish line, because Sanchez is somehow going faster. Yeah, he's sprinting by me. So I think top 17 somewhere is my result. You and I both know that I came here for more than a 17th place, so a little bit disappointed, but better climbers and Niels Pollitt. Niels Pollitt came 15th? Bro's got 71 medium mountain. How did that happen? I was about to say we were beaten by better climbers, but that's not true. Anyway, in GC dropping all the way to 11th place, so out of the top 10, and this was supposed to be the easy mountain stage, so I'm terrified for the rest. Like stage 6, for example, a proper mountain stage. But I am wondering, Mathieu Bourgodeau is the leader of the KOM jersey at the moment with 13 points, but the first climb is already 12 points, so what if Romeo gets in the break and goes for KOM? Wait a second, KOM does not give KOM points? That is so sad. So yeah, scrap that, we're going for GC. Oi, 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 what happened to my team? -1, -2, -1. Romeo with a 0 day, so that's decent, but it's still only 75 mountain on a brutal mountain stage. If the breakaway becomes very large, I might consider going in the breakaway, and actually that's kind of happening. It's 11 riders at the moment. Anyone else trying? Red Bull pacing, so let's stay in the peloton for now. And I think I did make the right choice by staying in the peloton because, well, there's a lot of teams pacing at the moment. And on the first big climb, the breakaway is already falling apart, so this break is doomed. After the first climb, Kopetsky off the back, Okamika as well, so I'm down to 5 riders in the peloton, which, that's fine. But it does show how selective this race already is. Anyway, 60 kilometers to go and the Lukmanir Pass is starting, the biggest climb of the day. It's not the steepest one though, so should be doable for Romeo. I'm a tiny bit worried that the tempo in the peloton is so incredibly low, but the breakaway seems to be somewhat falling apart, so what if I try to bridge to the breakaway with someone like Tercero? 3, 2, 1, there we go. Duo attack by Gomez Lopez and Tercero. I will try and pace with Gomez Lopez and Tercero in the wheel and we'll see what happens. And we are catching up with the breakaway as we speak, so Tercero is looking pretty good, a minute on the peloton already, so are we cooking something up? There we go, straight past the breakaway. What are my boys doing? This is crazy. 7 kilometers to the top, the tempo's really going up to the point that Romeo and Serrano need to move up, but we've got little Trek now pacing and the gap is down to 30 seconds, so my boys are getting cooked now. Gomez Lopez is getting caught by the peloton. Tercero is alone with 4 kilometers to the top, so this move is not working. Can I get Serrano over the top here and potentially fight for the win? 1.5k to the top and Tercero is getting caught. We've got Romeo with Serrano in the wheel still in the group, so Tercero can protect Romeo right now. Come on, Serrano. Hold on for dear life. We've got a move right there by Skelmose, but that's not my move to respond to. I'll just stay in the peloton. And they've been caught over the top, so that's perfect. Now we need to make sure Serrano's energy goes up because then he can survive the final stretch towards the finish line because it's not completely flat. All the downhill is behind us, so it's now uphill to the finish with Serrano in a perfect position and perfect yellow bar, almost full. So come on, Serrano, survive, buddy. We've got some attacks on the right side of the road and Romeo will single-handedly try to control this group for Serrano, but we don't want to ruin his red bar either, so I can't go too fast on Romeo either. Last 3.5 kilometers, Tercero is done for, so it's down to Romeo and Serrano now. Come on, guys, we've got this. 2 kilometers to go. Let's try to move up on 90 right now on this uphill with Romeo. We can not sprint yet, not sprint yet. Right now with Romeo, is this too early? It might be. Serrano in the wheel. Come on, last kilometer. There goes Serrano. There goes Serrano. Come on the right side of the road. But no, Wout van Aert and Ganna are both here. Better sprinters and Wout van Aert loses from Ganna. We get third with Serrano, but I didn't expect Ghana and Wahoo to be there. But it makes complete sense that if Serrano survives, they do as well. But I must confess, before the stage started, I did not expect to podium here, so a fantastic result by Javier Serrano. Ay ay ay, Wout van Aert, really? He's passing me in GC? I'm now 12th. But I am hoping on stage 7, a medium mountain time trial, that we could potentially move up. I'm sorry, but how is Filippo Ganna the favorite for a mountain time trial? Anyway, let's see how this goes. So, Ivan Romeo starts on 75 because it's kind of flat here, but I do want to go towards 80, 85 on the climb itself. Now on the steeper section of this climb, so let's do 86 to spend both my yellow bar and my red. This is the top of the climb, my yellow bar not looking too bright, but we've got a, 13th time. That's not as good as I expected. Now into the downhill, I think 80 might be too much, so let's bring that down to 75 and let's make sure we keep our red bar. In the last stretch, let's bring it to 90 right now, to the line, there we go, 6th place, so that's solid. But still a couple of riders to come. And sadly, most of those riders ended up beating us 16th in the end, so that is a disappointing result. Once again losing positions in GC, now 14th on about a minute from top 10. And it's gonna be really hard to move up in this final stage. Like, this last stage is ridiculous, ridiculously short and ridiculously hard. And I've got a feeling that Ivan Romeo's 74 mountain stat will not be enough. Once again, quite a bit of riders going into the breakaway here, but the peloton is chasing with... Actually, are they? Am I letting a breakaway go? Considering the break is so large, I did decide to attack in the peloton with Romeo, and it seems to be working because the peloton is 4 minutes behind at the moment, and Koi is pacing, so this break could win. Which of course means we could take back time in GC and potentially finish in the top 10. Gomez Lopez is done for just before the top, so Romeo is now gradually trying to get towards the front of the race himself, and those people are obviously fighting for KOM points, but I should be able to get back eventually. Fun fact, the breakaway is not pacing that hard and the gap is 7 minutes, so Ivan Romeo in the break, 4 minutes back in GC, is virtual leader. I did not expect this to happen. Over the top of the second climb as we speak, gradually trying to get closer to the front of the race, but the gap is 2 minutes 35, so it's not exactly working. Anyway, this massive climb is about to begin. We're halfway the race and the break is 3 riders, AJ August, Thibaut Nys and Bras Afonso. We are 2 minutes back in a group of 10 riders, still 5 minutes and a half on the peloton, so let's keep this going. I'm not exactly sure how, but we keep on losing time to the front of the race. The gap is now 2 minutes 30, but it's now dropping 2 minutes 15, 2 minutes 10. We're getting closer. But so is the peloton, who is absolutely flying at the moment, 3 minutes behind us, so they're closing in. The victory might go to the peloton after all. And there come the attacks from the peloton. We've got Martinez, Ayuso and Jorgensen, but now they're sitting up, so they just attacked towards us and they're sitting up again. Hey, I'm not complaining. Just about 3 kilometers to go and AJ August is now solo up the road, a minute 40 ahead of us. He's a great climber in this series, so I'm not surprised. Romeo, you gotta try and survive. You gotta try and stay ahead of the GC riders. And actually, the gap towards the GC riders is back up to 3 minutes. That is crazy. But I'm starting to suffer myself as we speak in the final kilometer towards the top, so let's try to do my own tempo. It's too late for that. It's too late for that. I'm with Omen right now, but I need to keep the gap to the peloton. Over the top of that climb, so let's drop our effort towards like maintain position 25 to recover as much of our yellow bar as possible, because I need that energy on the final climb. And now it's time. The final climb is about to begin. We've got 2 companions, which is Thibaut Nys and Stef Kras, so let's work together, Belgians. Dropping riders one by one, some Omen off the back, Kras off the back. Thibaut Nys is probably gonna drop pretty soon as well, but Isaac Del Toro is attacking in the peloton behind as we... Is he? Del Toro's empty. Why did he attack? He's done for. I can't believe it, but AJ August is gonna win the stage. That is crazy after a massive solo. We've got our man with 30 seconds left on the GC favorites. Ooh, I was hoping that gap would be bigger, but I'll keep on pushing in the last 2 kilometers as we speak on, let's say, 90. Come on, keep on going. Sprint right now, buddy. Sprint right now. I could have spent a bit more yellow bar on that climb, but Romeo is gonna finish with about a minute on the group of the GC favorites, so I think that might just be enough. I think that's enough to get into the top 10. I can't believe I almost missed the breakaway at the start of the stage. That would have been bad. But I'm actually just noticing 4th place on the stage. I'm really happy with that. Almost podiumed. But of course, more importantly, in the top 10. But it's 10th place, so we only barely made it. Well, I'm saying barely, but we have like 45 seconds on 11th place, so it was not that close in the end. But hey, we came to this race for a top 10 in GC, and we got that, plus a stage win, so I'm very happy. But considering the game is now a lot harder compared to Season 1, a victory like the one of Matthias Kopecky in this Tour de Suisse feels so much more fulfilling. But also, I've got some pretty good news. For the first time in a very long time, I've got hope when it comes to UCI points. We moved up 2 positions from 25th to 23rd, just about 1200 points behind 18th place, which we want to get, because once again, top 18 means staying in World Tour next season. Anyway, Tour de Suisse to the side, it is time to look at our next races, which is the National Championships. Now, I will probably skip a few of these races where I'm simply not competitive, but this one is not one of them. Schwarzbacher is the third favorite at the Slovakian ITT. So yeah, let's secure that podium. The difficult part about doing a time trial with a single rider like this one with Schwarzbacher is the fact that I don't get to do a recon with a different rider, to the point that I'm kind of just guessing what effort I need to ride, so let's go 85. Matthias actually has a pretty good day today, 69 time trials, so let's hope this works out. There we go, I spent my red bar on the climb, so gotta make sure I'm not completely empty when it comes to red. Into the final stretch, there goes Schwarzbacher, first place by 28 seconds, but not the last rider. Oh, second place in the end on a minute of Siroko, so this was not even close. But hey, we got second place, so some UCI points? Yes sir, 30 UCI points, so that's half a Tour de Suisse stage win. I'm not complaining. I do think the Czech ITT will be a little bit harder, but we are a top 10 candidate, so I will ride this just to try and get a top 5 here. 65 time trial for Kopecky, let's try this. There we go, Kopecky on the road. By the way, if you're wondering why the parkour is exactly the same as the Slovakian ITT, in real life, Czechia and Slovakia organized their national championships together. And of course, I'm not complaining because this means that Schwarzbacher's time trial was basically the recon for Kopecky. I'm trying to spend my red bar mostly on the climb, but I gotta make sure I don't run out of red bar either. There we go, final stretch. First time for now by 7 seconds, but I expect that to change. Unsurprisingly, Matthias Vacek is the winner of this race. We finish 8th in the end, so no top 5. But of course, we tried our best, so that's all we can do here. Now, I do think this race, the Slovenian ITT, is a race that I'll probably be skipping because Tadej Pogačar is gonna destroy this. Yep, Tadej Pogačar wins. And this one, the Portuguese ITT, is also getting a good old quick sim. The winner is João Almeida and Lucas Lopes getting 6th. I'm okay with that. But now it's time for the big one. The Spanish ITT and seeds. Juan Ayuso is the favorite, but Ivan Romeo is rolling up, so that's our man. We won this race last year, and I want to extend my title, so let's bring this home. Actually a pretty complicated time trial, starting with a bit of an uphill section, then a second hill about 2/3 into the race, and falls flat to the finish, so micromanaging is gonna be key. So, Markel Bellocchi is on the road, 71 time trial, but he's my test subject for Romeo, so let's see how this goes. I am starting off on 75 because it is a 40-kilometer time trial, but it's also going uphill, so we can recover in the downhills. On the steepest section of this fast climb, let's bring it up to 88 to spend some of my red bar, and now down to, let's say, not 60, 70 roughly. Now on the flat again, back up to 75. We got 5th place at the first time check, now the second time check is right here, 2nd place, but I think I spent too much energy. Yeah, the last 9 kilometers is basically falls flat uphill, so 73 won't do it, so let's bring that down to 70 to make sure our man survives until the finish. Last 400 meters, let's up it to 75 to the finish line, there we go. 2nd place at the finish, that's pretty good by Bellocchi. But of course, now it's time for the big man. Here we go, our man is on the road, 79 time trial on the day, so yeah. This is gonna happen. Considering Romeo is a better time trial list than Bellocchi, I can go a little bit harder, so 77 instead of 75. First time check incoming, let's take a look. First place by 18 seconds, so doing splendid. Hola, do you see what I see? Our main competitor Juan Ayuso is about to be passed by Ivan Romeo. Get f***ed, my boy, get f***ed. Second time check for Romeo incoming, let's take a look. First time again, yes, and by 3 minutes on Lascano. That is crazy! Just like Markel Bellocchi running out of our yellow bar with about 3.5 kilometers to go, so we're on par with our man, and this is gonna be a victory. I've got no doubt about it. There we go, 2nd time in a row, Spanish champion Ivan Romeo crosses the line and wins! There we go! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! 2 minutes on Juan Ayuso, 2:30 on Biological Passport man Lascano. I swear this entire series, the cornerstone in our team has been Ivan Romeo doing pretty damn good in time trials. Winning on his first race day of the season, the Adelaide Prologue in Tour Down Under, followed by a Valenciana TT win, a Andalusia TT win, and of course now finishing off with the Spanish NC ITT. Honestly, a near perfect season by Romeo so far. And I think it's fair to say our team is back after today because two nice victories, a beautiful stage win at the Tour de Suisse with Kopecky, and a beautiful time trial national champion in Ivan Romeo. And of course, most importantly, slowly but surely moving our way up in the World Tour ranking. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.